What's up, everybody? Well, today I'm here to bring you another vacuum in my vacuum collection. And it is another Hoover Elite. As many people know, I love Hoover Elites. And I like to snatch them up whenever a good looking one comes across my path. And the one style Elite I have not added to or as much in my collection is the 80s style Elites. And this one is especially one that I have been wanting to get for so long now. Here I bring to you a Hoover Elite 600. This is one of the top of the line Elite series back in the 80s. Whereas I think the entry ones were the Elite 200, which that one's literally the base model with no headlight. The Elite 350 was the tweener of the Elite series, and I do have a couple of those machines. Well, one is an Elite 350, the other is an Elite 50. But I've never had an Elite 600 style machine to bring to the channel until this one. Which I actually got this from another YouTuber who has made a video on this already. And I thought I'd make my own video on it because a lot of people probably want to see my own side of the story of what it's like to own a Hoover Elite. Now, as many people know, I already have so much Hoover Elites to begin with. I'm thinking this is probably my 18th Elite. So, anyway, let's go ahead and give a walk through the machine. There's not really that much to say about it. There's just your typical 80s style Hoover Elite. This is before the days where Hoover included onboard attachments for these. And all of these 80s Elites came in soft bag. This was long before they developed hard bag machines. And let's go and unzip the outer bag. This is the more deluxe version of the outer bag. It says deluxe top fill bag system. I mean, it's a lot larger than the traditional bags you would find on your Elite 200 and Elite 350. But anyways, we look inside here. As you notice, yeah, the bag zip is on the right. Some people who probably own the 90s series of Elite, the 90s version of the Elites, the bag zip is on the left. Reason why Hoover moved it over to the left is later on when they added the onboard tools, which are mounted to the right of the machine, this right bag zip would get in the way of that tool rack. So Hoover later saw that and moved the zip to the left, just so you can still have your onboard attachments and be able to access the bag at the same time at maximum convenience. So these machines, like any other Elite back then, they take these large Hoover Type A bags. This particular one is running a genuine HEPA Media synthetic bag, which filters way better than even the genuine paper bags at the time. And if any of you who can find some HEPA bags for these machines, as well as the older concepts and even the convertibles that take Type A bags, I more than recommend them. They filter much better, and you can get a lot more performance out of them, or at least maintain it throughout the entire vacuuming process, basically 100%. And Type A, however, I would like to point out the HEPA Type A bags are a little bit hard to find. The Type Ys in HEPA are easier to come. It's just the only problem with those is they're not as large as the Type A's, so you can't pack as much dirt as you could with a Type A. But I digress. As we move on down, it has this really unique shaped headlight lens on these Elite 600 style machines. And you see the lens kind of curves 90 degrees and kind of flows into the top part of the hood. Pretty unique. And right here, it says down here, your Elite 600 lettering. Brushed edge cleaning on each side. Hoover symbol right there. This has 4 carpet height adjustments. And this is something only top of the line Elites came with. The Elite 350 only came with 3 carpet height adjustments. There was just, well, it says it only comes with 2, but realistically those only come with 3. You just had low, medium, and high for those. And this, it's, interestingly enough, this was 80s. So there's low, medium, high, and shag, which shag is basically the highest carpet pile you can get. I've always liked to leave this on the high setting for the pile of this carpet, which actually is technically the middle setting. And also another interesting thing I found out about these older 80s style Elites is, and the Elite 350s were the same way, the brush head does not raise up off the floor when the vacuum's in its upright position, unlike the 90s style. It basically is left at whatever carpet height adjustment you leave it at, and the vacuum will recline back and forth just as normal. It's just the head won't stand up off the floor when you're in your upright position. Which also right up here, like any high-end Elite that has this large deluxe outer bag, it does come with a stair cleaning handle as well, so you can basically hold it right there and you could use it to clean your stairs. So anyway, let's go ahead and tip the machine back, show you the underside. This is its all original double red bristle brush roll, which is in very good condition. Honestly, I feel like this is better condition than the red single row brush roll in my Elite 350. And the bristles are medium stiff. They're not as stiff as some of the other brush rolls I've seen for these, but they are very, very nice and long. I would like to point out, I think I'm sitting parallel with the sole plate, and that's just how long the bristles are. So this thing agitates extremely well. And as we turn this thing on its side to show you the ratings plate. Right here is it's Hoover cleaner model U4473, 120 volts, 60 hertz. This has a 6 amp motor. It's a lot more powerful than the 5 amp. But the thing I find interesting about these older Elites that have a 5 amp or 6 amp motor, they have a much quieter tone when they're running compared to some of the 7 amps. And which is kind of great because these machines are very loud to begin with. But other than that, this is for household use only, and it's made in the good old US of A, which I find really great that these older machines were US made. And even though wind tunnels were made in Mexico, and that's nothing compared to a US-made Hoover. And it's by the Hoover Company of North Canton, Ohio. And also, the serial number on this, I could tell you to decode the year that this was made. The first 4 digits, I could tell you. The first 2 are the month of manufacturing, and the 3rd and 4th is the year. So 04 of 89, so to be specifically, that's April of 1989. So, pretty interesting. So anyway, let's go ahead and put the carpet eye back to where it was before. It kind of went low on me when I tipped the machine sideways. So anyway, there's honestly not that much to say about this, so what I'm gonna do now is just release the cord, which is a very long cord, by the way. I guesstimate this is probably about a 32 foot cord, so it's pretty long. Let me go ahead and give a little rundown of the cord to make sure there are no tangles. And let's go ahead and plug this thing in. And we'll go ahead and turn this thing on and demo it for you guys. Typical Elite fashion, your power switch is down on the side of the vacuum base. What I'm sure a lot of people who probably know this already, but just in case if you don't watch any of my videos, this power switch is actually a little plastic rod that runs down into where a main rocker switch is inside the valley of the motor. Which I'm honestly not entirely sure what Hoover's big ideas for doing this is. I'm guessing it's to prevent people from getting electrocuted. Either that or Hoover just wanted to keep all the wiring tucked away inside the motor so there's nothing else running throughout the base of the vacuum, which honestly that sounds more logical than the first one I said. But anyway, I do like that with this design. It could prevent someone from getting electrocuted versus a traditional rocker switch that would probably be put on this if it were made in today's standards. But anyway, enough of my yammering. Let's go ahead and turn this vacuum on, and you can hear this thing in all of its screaming, overly loud Hoover glory. runs exceptionally smooth. When I bought this off eBay, the seller has noted that this thing was freshly rebuilt inside and out, so it definitely shows because this thing runs very smooth, almost as if it were brand new. And this 6-amp motor, I can tell you, is a lot more quieter than some of the later 90s 7-amp motors. Anyway, before we end the video, I would like to show you something very interesting, how these older Elites had their attachments back in the day. See, back then, before the Elites had onboard attachments, there was a special converter that you could attach to the bottom base of the machine, and this is how you were able to get your onboard tools for this thing. Let's see if I can get this last one in. There we are. But anyway, this piece pops on that sits underneath the head of the vacuum, and you are able to use your tools with this because it has a nice long hose that comes out that unfortunately isn't the longest, but it seems about as long as an Elite with an onboard hose would be. So anyway, and since this vacuum is direct air, don't expect miracle suction power because it's really not the highest. Get your attachments on this. Right here's your single extension wand. You just simply slide the little tab in to where it lines up, twist this, and you'll lock it in place. Pretty much like a Hoover canister of the time. And speaking of canister, these attachments I actually robbed from one of my Hoover canisters because they have the same little tabs on the top, so they'll fit right in place of a traditional attachment. Like this here crevice tool. Interestingly enough, on these canisters, they have these little rubber teeth on the bottom compared to the ones on the upright, which don't have them at all. Let's go ahead and take this guy off. Attachments back for right now. But I hope you've enjoyed this video on the Hoover Elite 600. Be sure and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.